Hello, everybody. This is episode 11 of Geekhead. We're
11?
still here.
I
11,
swear we're at 12 now.
12.
Yeah, 10 2 weeks ago, 11 last week, 12 today.
I missed last week.
Yeah, they still count as episodes when you're not there, guy.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Especially not now. I do not. I do not. I was. I know you why you chose that episode last week.
Yeah, also the fact that that's how we actually feel.
Yeah, but you did it while I was away. I can press the stop broadcast button in time.
Also, it cuts down on the swearing as well.
It does. It does. I would have been. Listening back to the episode, I got mighty wrought up. But it was good. So today we're going to talk about science fiction and the definitive series that we feel has influenced the science fiction genre universe as a whole. But first, I told Peter about this. I took my nephew into his first Games Workshop store today, and he loved it. I was so proud. So proud of him.
Yeah, you've got to absolutely love that. You've really got to love it. When you take a kid to somewhere that really is disturbing as Games Workshop and they love it.
You fit in here. You're my kind of friend.
You know, there was one thing that happened today as well that if I had had the money and I'd known about it earlier, I wouldn't be here because I'd still be down there. London.
Where would you be?
Comic Con this week. They had 4 very special guests there. 4 guests who basically defined my childhood and changed my life. Hello?
Oh.
Yeah, these guys who changed my life, they were 4 of the original cast members of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
No.
Yep.
Ah.
Yep. And I sit here
Sweet.
as a man who can see 30 on the horizon, and I tell you, if I have one dream in life that could be fulfilled, it would be to be a Power Ranger. More than anything else.
Oh, I know a review I can do. I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles today.
I watched it last week as well, so let's just kind of have our quick thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, including my massively controversial opinion.
Okay. It was a fun movie, typical Michael Bay, and I loved the Turtles. I felt like it focused on Megan Fox a little bit too much. Personally, I prefer a bit more of the Turtles. They could have gone a bit more into their story and their personalities than her trying to become a big reporter.
Whereas I think they had just the right amount of April O'Neil and
Yeah.
plenty of Turtle to go around, and her character being a way into the world, considering that she's basically always been the 5th lead of the show after the 4 Turtles, I have no problem with that.
I know
have no problem with lots of Megan Fox on my screen.
My favourite part of the movie, maybe it's just my scientific background, is when they pump them full of adrenaline. That just made me chuckle.
You know, my favourite moment, there's a bit where they're in an elevator together.
Yes, and they're beatboxing.
Yeah, Mikey starts beatboxing, and then the rest all join in whilst keeping their, like, grr expressions.
Yeah, somehow.
It's just the film was a hell of a lot funnier than I thought it would be. The action was good, I had fun, and controversial opinion time.
Okay.
I walked out of this movie with bigger smiles and having had more fun than when I walked out of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, you weren't too keen on Guardians, were you?
I thought it was okay. 7 out of 10. You know, good film, enjoyable. Would watch again. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I would have watched again in the cinema.
I
Yes, everyone can put down your pitchforks. I know my opinion sucks.
that's the nice thing about opinions. It's personal. You have to leave it as that. Just
Yeah,
leave it
I'll be
there.
honest. I'd actually put Guardians of the Galaxy as the second worst Marvel film.
Oh, oh,
No, third worst. The Iron
oh,
Man sequels are
Peter,
worse.
Peter.
My
You
opinion sucks. Get over it.
you just like making people angry, don't you? You enjoy this.
Hey, I say the best movie of all time is Bambi. What do you expect?
Yeah, I guess. I guess. Again, we will let you. We are all entitled to our opinion, and we'll leave it as that. So let's move into our discussion today
Okay.
about the universe. Well, what was it? The most influential series
Yeah.
in science fiction. And you start off because I think you've got some really good points.
Yeah. My first thought is I'm not talking about my favorite, although it's one of. I'm not talking about the most popular. I'm not talking about the biggest or the most money making. Although actually, now I think about it, it might well be.
It is.
This is the one series where I think if I took that series out of history, how different would sci-fi be?
Yeah.
And my entire thought is completely. I put this series on a par with Lord of the Rings in fantasy in terms of its influence.
Dun
And
dun
that
dun.
series is Star Wars.
I think you're right there. I think you're right because we before the show we were having a bit of a discussion and we were trying to clarify what this meant, like what we meant about the most influential and the impact that Star Wars certainly had on cinematography was just astounding.
Well, the impact it had on the real world is it completely changed the cinema industry.
Yeah.
Completely. The reason the summer blockbuster season exists is because of Star Wars.
Yep.
After Star Wars, you could sell a movie on the visual special effects. It
Yeah.
invented modern special effects. There's a
Yeah.
reason why ILM is still the leading effects in the world.
The yeah, just looking back at the spaceship animation and the even a lot of the design and costumes that they used in over the movies, there was suddenly this incredible attention to detail that you just hadn't seen before.
Yeah, and just to give an idea about the level of influence, whatever you think about the prequels, me and Guy both like them. When they were advertising a new Star Wars film, the geek community worldwide collectively dropped everything and said, I will book my ticket right now.
Yeah,
I do not
if
care. I already have my ticket.
if it was a Kickstarter, it would have been publicly funded.
If there was, I can't remember the name of the film, but a film that's generally considered not that great. People saw that film specifically because the trailer for Star Wars Phantom Menace was attached to that film.
Yeah,
I'll have to double check which movie it is. I'll probably put it in a comment later, but that is how big Star Wars is.
yeah, yeah. The novels, the comics, the franchise. There is nothing that really comes close to the magnitude that is the Star Wars. Just the name, the franchise behind it.
Yeah, and I honestly put it on a par with Lord of the Rings for influence in the genre.
Yeah,
I mean, at least space opera style sci-fi. When you're talking about like, your gritty dystopian futures, okay, it's not affected them as much.
no, no. But for overarching sagas in space,
Oh yeah, it's what made people buy big, explosive, action-y summer blockbuster movies that are sci-fi related. It's the reason why sci-fi in, public media and in, Hollywood is big spaceships with loud explosions.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars, which is odd because I'd argue it's not really a sci-fi series.
Yes, and I'm with you personally. It's a fantasy set in space.
Yeah, and I could basically go on forever about why Star Wars is influential. No, I'm not saying it's good. I think it is. You don't have to like the prequels to admit they were a big deal.
It's true. Very true. And it is one of those things that you can't ignore what it's done at all. And even like you say, even if you're not a fan of Star Wars per se, you prefer Star Trek, Farscape, Andromeda, X-Files. I don't think we would. The science fiction would still be a B-rated genre without Star Wars.
Well, in terms of mainstream acceptance, it still is considered B-rated, but
Yeah,
at least in the US, not so much in the UK. Thank you,
in the UK. I think because the UK has such a different culture. Like we have H.G. Wells, we have John Wyndham, we've got Peter F. Hamilton. They're huge names in it, that have just. We've always had science fiction as a part of our culture.
And again, like I say, Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Doctor
It's
Who.
a national institution. You got to have some respect for the genre because Doctor Who. I mean, in the UK. I mean,
Even in the US.
have been made in the US ever. I don't think it would.
No, it wouldn't have been the same. Hearing the "Would you like a jelly baby" in an American accent might not have had the same impact as Tom Baker.
True. Although, as I was sitting here actually thinking, I did actually think of one series, or at least a couple of characters, who I think have kind of had just as much impact, if not more,
Okay.
overall.
Okay.
But before I get to that, Guy, can you think of any other series that kind of have that level of influence, come close to Star Wars?
I can reel off a ton of sci-fi series, but nothing really that I would say has had such an impact. They've all been, I guess, individual in their own way, but not having this overarching effect.
But what about, and I'm asking this question for you, Guy, then, what about Star Trek, the other great series?
Okay, Star Trek, it is a great series, and it focused on almost a completely different aspect of science fiction. Instead of being this overarching saga, it was more about sociology. It was about people and working together and living together and conflict between races and how you deal with that. But and from that aspect, it was much more enlightening because I personally quite enjoy sociology. I enjoy the study of sociology. So seeing this on a universe scale was really interesting as I grew up watching Star Trek. But it's never generated anywhere near the revenue as Star Wars. It didn't. There's something. I was introduced to Star Wars very early, and there are a couple of things that will take me back to that boyhood glee. But Star Trek didn't do that for me.
Now, see, I was introduced to Star Trek first.
Okay.
So I am a Trekkie, without question. But I'll admit, Star Wars changed things more. I mean, if you take TV and remove Star Trek, is TV going to be that different?
No. It's sad, but it wouldn't.
No. But if you take movies and remove Star Wars,
There's a big problem there.
Yeah, it changes everything. Except there's one. I take these as a pair of characters, but really it's kind of like the way they came to dominate the entire industry.
Uh-huh.
DC Comics.
Okay.
I had that thought sitting here. Who is the most famous fictional character in the world?
Superman?
Yeah. His symbol is, I think the only symbol more universally recognized is the cross.
Yeah.
So it kind of, in terms of fame, it goes Jesus, Superman.
Yeah. That also makes sense. But with it, I don't. Just because of the setting of Superman, I don't know what it is. In my head, I don't see it as a sci-fi. Like when he's in space, I see it as a sci-fi. When he's visiting other worlds, I do see it as a sci-fi. But when I think of Superman on Earth doing his thing, in my head, and this may just be me being silly, but I don't necessarily categorize it as sci-fi.
I can see that, but at the same time, he's an alien. Like the starting single point of the character is he's an alien.
Yes.
So that kind of keeps it in that category for me.
Oh, definitely.
What if a powerful alien came to the Earth? That's the whole premise of Superman. But beyond that, you've got the whole DC universe, which is definitely science fiction.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And
Green Lantern is definitely a sci-fi.
Let's put it this way. How many people know just how popular non-superhero comics are?
They're not particularly, not the most successful if they don't have a superhero in them.
The thing is, they're actually a massive part of the industry.
Oh, they are. I guess they just don't have. I guess people when they think of comics, even comic fans, they're looking at. Oh yeah, I started with Batman, Superman, Captain America.
Yeah, people don't think I started with Tintin.
Yes.
I started with the DuckTales comics, or like all the Disney comics.
And to tell you the truth, I actually started with Asterix and Obelix. That was my very first comic.
I think my very first one was the Dandy.
The Dandy. Oh, Beano and the Dandy.
Yeah, but Superman casts a very big shadow over the comic book industry.
Yeah, he does.
And so many characters are commentaries on Superman. He is the first superhero. Not technically the first, but he set the mold for the superhero.
I can definitely agree with that.
I don't know if mainstream he changed as much as Star Wars did, but he certainly changed it within that individual industry.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think either of us are saying that the other authors or series haven't made a difference or been influential. I mean, I'm not saying that. What about you, Guy?
No, I'm not saying that either.
And again, we're not saying what's necessarily our favorite, because overall series, my favorite, quite probably, original Battlestar Galactica.
Original. Again, that was like one of the early series I got into.
Yeah. Pretty much inspired by Star Wars as well.
Yeah. I was into Andromeda for a while. I loved Farscape. I was never a fan of Babylon 5. Something just didn't click with me.
See, I've not seen much Babylon 5, but what I've seen I've liked. Farscape is a series when I watch it, I feel like I should like it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Maybe. Oh, I had an idea for an episode. We should have a discussion about would a Firefly series 2, if it was released today, meet up to our expectations?
It'd probably meet mine because my expectations aren't that high. Again, my other heresy, I thought Firefly wasn't that good. It was okay, had potential.
I think like with most series, I think because it ended, people knew it had potential. It ended so abruptly that it just caused outrage because they wanted more.
Yeah. Also because it's Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon can do no wrong, blah, blah, blah.
He doesn't. I don't think he's never going to win any Oscars as a director, producer, whatever. He's not going to win Oscars. But like Michael Bay. Say again.
Joss Whedon's not earned any Oscars, not even close.
No. But like Michael Bay, he knows how to produce a fun production.
Anyway, I'm biting my tongue on that one.
That's fair. That's fair. Where were we? We're talking about influence and Star Wars Superman.
Yeah, for me, those are the top two. I mean, if you wanted to talk fantasy, it's not a discussion anybody needs to have. It's Lord of the Rings moving on.
Hands down. Like there's not really anything. Like the only thing that really comes close in fantasy that you could say is probably maybe not even as popular, but has had an impact is like the C.S. Lewis. But it's not the same.
No impact, I'd say. Yeah. I love Narnia, but it ain't no Lord of the Rings.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And really, you look at every other fantasy, even what we see today, and it's hard not to compare it to Tolkien.
No, I don't remember who said it, but somebody said that every fantasy in the modern world is either a commentary on or a reaction to The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true, because I remember reading it when I was 13, and suddenly everything I saw around me was like, yeah, that's Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, it's right there.
That's who it was. It's Terry Brooks who said that.
Brooks. Right, and again, like a lot of Brooks' stuff, he's a good fantasy writer, but there's no one that's really taken it away from what Tolkien did originally.
No, final quote. Not a month goes by that I don't read at least one interview or review that credits J.R.R. Tolkien with contributing to a writer's current work.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Good old Tolkien.
Changed everything. But still, that's just our thoughts.
Tell us what you think.
Yeah, definitely. If you can make a case for your series being more influential, go ahead.
Yeah. We will even watch it again, just to make sure that we understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to tell me that you honestly believe that the Harry Potter films are more influential, I will bite that bullet and I will reread the books.
I would do it, but I would find it hard to palate that argument being more than Tolkien.
Yeah, you just can't beat. He is the conversation on what inspired fantasy. He really is.
Like,
no other single author had dominated a genre like he did.
No, I've had conversations about the Silmarillion with umpteen people. They're beyond the hands and toes, like fingers and toes that I possess. I have had discussions about the wizards, the creation of Middle Earth, the greater god, the elder gods, the elves, the orcs, where they all came from. I've not had that necessarily to that depth with Harry Potter.
Yeah, you can't get it with Harry Potter. You can't get it with... Again, these are good series. They're fun. They're enjoyable. We love them.
Yeah, it's true.
Tolkien is Tolkien.
Can't touch it.
It's like Shakespeare is Shakespeare.
It's true.
Even if you don't like Shakespeare, it's Shakespeare.
Yeah. You will still study it at school.
Yeah, but That's our challenge for you guys. If you
Give us
think we're
something.
wrong, yeah, tell me why I'm wrong.
We're always game for reading something new or something again. Maybe for the 20th time, we'll read it.
Yeah. So I think that kind of covers the discussion.
It does. Yeah, I think it does. But what you have got? So we've got part two of the Foundation reviews, haven't we? So you've got a third part now, haven't you?
Yep. Yeah, by the time I got to the end of the characters, I was thinking, okay, I'll need to keep this final part separate. Basically, my overall thoughts on the series and what I
Anything
think
new?
moral of Foundation is.
Ooh. Okay. I'm
And
looking forward to. I always enjoy reading your essays.
and if I can kind of point one thing into that discussion, kind of like a spoiler, it's Asimov is an author who loved to prove himself wrong.
Okay. I'm
That's
interested
just
to see
kind of a
what.
hint there.
That's cool. Anything? Are you doing anything else?
Video review for episode 3 of Supernatural season 10.
I will put that on the website and Twitter.
That's all I can say about the series so far.
Oh no. Well, on a lighter note, I'm going to be starting a Walking Dead review. I'll do the first 2 episodes, and then the third episode we get in England on Monday. So that will be when I'll get some videos on.
That sounds fun.
And I'm almost at the end of Jim Butcher's second book. I'm about halfway through a sci-fi that Gillian Anderson from the X-Files has written that's actually pretty good.
Huh. I would have thought she'd be a terrible author.
It's co-written, so I don't know the other author, but it may be that he's done a lot of the writing and she's provided the storyline. But it as a story, it's not bad, and the writing isn't actually that bad.
Yeah. Oh, there's one final piece of sci-fi news we need to comment on quickly.
What's that?
The Avengers 2 trailer that came out.
Oh my goodness, why haven't we talked about this before? Oh, how good was that?
Actually looking forward to the film now.
The second, there were some really cool moments, and then seeing the Hulkbuster in motion, that did it for me.
I can take or leave the Hulkbuster, to be honest.
Yeah.
What really sold it to me, it looked like there's going to be some actual character development in this film.
Yes, well, have you heard about what the Avengers 3 is going to be?
I've heard what Captain America 3 is planned to be.
Okay, so the Avengers 3 is Civil War.
No, that's Captain America 3.
No. Captain America 3 is setting up for Civil War. At least what I've
I
read.
don't want them to waste an Avengers film on Civil War. That storyline sucked.
I know, but it would be interesting because I read about the it was more about the argument that one of the producers at Marvel had about Downey Roberts
Robert Downey Jr.
That's the one. He didn't want him to be in the movie, but he then had some lawyers come in and push him into the movie, so they were going to be setting up Civil War from Captain America 3.
I'd rather they got the Infinity Gauntlet out the way.
I know, but they've already announced that they're doing like 5 Avengers, so I can imagine that setting up like the last one will be when everything comes out.
Maybe. Yeah. You know, I'll be honest, I'm generally more interested in the individual films than I am in the crossover one.
Oh, I agree. Well, I'm excited for the Daredevil series.
Could be good. Although I do want to address one point I saw a comment on a while ago.
Okay.
There are people who have been saying that Marvel will probably get a Black Widow movie out before they get the Wonder Woman movie, meaning Marvel will have got the first solo movie for a superheroine. I'd like to point out to you guys, there was a Supergirl movie.
Oh, yes, there was. I remember that.
Back in the 80s.
Yes, there was. I remember that. I remember being really scared with that witch.
Yeah, it's a stupid film, but it's fun.
It was 80s DC. Of course it was going to be dumb but fun.
Yeah, I think we're getting close to rambling again, but
Yeah.
it does look pretty good. Age of Ultron, not gonna lie.
I'm
The fact
very
that it has
excited.
some actual character development is a nice point.
Yeah. Yes, it could. So, we will keep everything up to date. Check out our website where we will be updating our blog and all the videos that we currently are doing. So, Peter's review on Supernatural, my review on The Walking Dead will all be there. Check out our YouTube. Leave us comments. We want to hear from you. We've got some other things planned that we want to start doing. So keep on following us, and we will be able to carry on doing this.
Yeah.
Next week we're all getting together, and we're having a good Halloween weekend.
Yes, we are. All sorts of crazy things, but what are we doing? You'll have to watch us to find out.
I like that. Well, that'll be all from us tonight. So everyone listening, have a good night.
Have a lovely night and geek out.